your own agent, I think that would be a success on my end.
Hi everybody, this is Joanne Marine again. So I'm a career and confidence coach. I am also a software engineer, for those people who do not know. I work in the AI and cloud space. So when Ichi was talking about the data centers and the power that it takes, I'm in the middle of that struggle right now. And I was telling my friend down there that we would love to have the data centers everywhere, right? But our biggest challenge right now is power. And if the developed countries like Amsterdam are actually stopping us because they are unable to provide us with more power in terms of building, what about Kenya that is unable to even provide enough power just to power everything we have today? So we are asking for this, but we don't know what it means, right? What it means is we have to stabilize the power grid first, provide an alternative source, because if that data center comes online with the current power grid, every home in Kenya will go down. Everything will go down immediately. So let's think about that before we push for something we don't know the implications are going to be, right? So my suggestion is for us to figure out the power. So how do we then, given that that is my ecosystem, I would say let's figure out, let's use AI and AI agents, which I love, by the way, using in my own work, to figure out the power issue. So that's what I would want to solve in Kenya. Because if we do that, then we bring the data centers, then we bring the jobs, then we bring everything else. So, yeah.
Thank you. We look forward to that idea. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Virginia Onyara. I am an educator and now a policy student at Northeastern University. I have a doctorate degree from the University of Nairobi in management and organizational behavior, but I developed an interest in environment and sustainability issues in ICT sector and technology about 10 years ago, and from there I have been talking about electronic waste, green ICT all my life. So that is why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that brief introduction. So from that introduction, what has come out is that some of the big ideas that we want to think about would involve agentic AI. What would be the source of power? That would be one concern. How can we make use of the power resources that we have available? Do we only rely on the normal grid power, or what are the options? That is what came out through from Joanne. And then, of course, you mentioned, Virginia, about electronic waste as one critical area that you can think about. So now, let's go a little bit deeper on those three ideas. Oh, I thought I was not seeing the other panels, but it's okay. So now, let's think a little bit about those three ideas. Let's start with Titus. Titus mentioned about agentic AI. And like from the previous panel, let's try to break down a little bit of that. Yes, it's a huge concept, but now let's see what exactly would you define agentic AI, so that now we can see the idea that comes from it. What would be a definition, Titus, on agentic AI? Sorry.
Sounds good. So I'll time myself for 1 minute to answer this. But let's start with what's not agentic AI. Agentic AI is not ChatGPT. It's not Gemini, it is not Copilot, whichever. It comes from the term agent, like an FBI agent, someone like mtumishi, unampatia kazi anaenda anaifanya anaitekeleza mahali, someone who goes to do something. In that context, an agentic AI is a specialized AI that does a specific job depending on what you train it to do, for example. So ChatGPT is a large language model, but you can derive an agent from any LLM and tell it, I want a specific agent to write my reports. I want a specific agent to give me market analysis. I want a specific agent to give me a shopping list because my fleet is empty, specifically for that. So it's like you have a car, right? A car would be its own LLM, but then the fact that you can say, okay, igari ni Prado, igari ni, what do you call it? A Mercedes. The specificity of that AI, that's the agent, and that is agentic AI. Hopefully that's a clear definition about it.
Okay, thank you very much. I know once we are able to get now the audience participation, at least we'll be able to get a picture of what it's all about. But thank you very much for that introduction, because what comes out from your statement is that for sure, now this is probably someone who would probably take up certain functions that ideally would be done by someone else, and they can now execute your work. So that's quite interesting, because it means now you can probably put some machine to be in charge of your work. That's quite interesting. We'll get to hear more from it. So now let's move now to Joanna once more. So you mentioned about power. What are your thoughts about power? Why would it be something very crucial for AI?
I think Ichi mentioned about the megawatts and the gigawatts and all of that. So where I work today in Azure Core, one of our biggest challenges with the AI boom is we can't build the data centers quickly enough, right, to power all the GPU machines that are required to then give you all the AI power that you guys need and that we all need. Now, the biggest problem in Kenya, now going back to Kenya, and the things that I have experienced as a Kenyan as well, is when you get to Nairobi, everything is great, right? And then you're in the middle of, because I work remote, I'm in the middle of working, and all of a sudden the lights are off, right? We have is it called load shedding? I don't know what it's called, but yeah, when the power is cut in different places, right? So imagine there you are, and here we cannot be able to have consistent power today just to power normal activities, like just having electricity, having your small machine powered through the day. We don't have that yet. The amount of power that it takes, as I said, to run just one data center is massive. And what we need to solve before we get to the data center space. When I saw Microsoft saying they had an interest in Kenya, I laughed that very day, because I knew it was not going to work. Not because I don't think it's not the future, I know it's the future. But I knew the first thing that they did not count on is they don't understand the power challenges that we have in Kenya. So I knew that part. And so when I think about what we could do with AI today is, okay, so we're not yet at the stage where we can say our power is strong enough. So then let's solve that problem, right? We could create nuclear power. We could figure out other power sources. We have great weather in Kenya. Can we figure out using all the AI power and information we have today? How can we then harness power that's not going to tap into the normal national power grid that will then tank the entire economy? Right? That's how I see us getting enough power to then be able to say, okay, Microsoft, now come build. Because we want to build. We have the money, we have the backing. But the government knows very well that if they are going to power this data center using the national power grid, everything else comes to a stop. So what I would do, and what my suggestion is, let's figure out alternative power sources, which we already know. But now that we have all this information that is free-flowing, let's build around how do we create a big enough power source that we'll never have to rely on the national power grid. Then, once we have used AI to power this and bring these energy sources up, then let's absolutely go to Microsoft. If Microsoft is still on the table, if it's not on the table, we have Oracle, we have Google, we have AWS, we have something I think Elon is creating, right? So we have a lot of people with a lot of interest. And I personally would love to come and work there and lead that, right? So if that happens, here I am. But that's how I think about it. So let's use AI, the resources that we have today, to really solve that power. We solve that one piece, we're good to go. Because we have the people, we have the brains, we have the land, we have all of that. We just need the power.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanne, for that. For sure, that would be a very important policy issue that there has to be some intervention, because if we expect to gain from the AI evolution, then that would mean there has to be some investment on it. I know probably for the ones who are coming from Kenya, they would really want to think about the Lake Turkana wind power, You'd also think about the geothermal power that is still available. How would you be able to harness those power sources? But we'll still be able to get more ideas from you, Joanna.
So good.
Okay. So now let's move on to Virginia once more. What would be you talked about electronic waste. I think I picked that because you mentioned something to do with the environment and how we can really see those are the effects of tech and how we can be able to reduce them. So what are your thoughts? What is your big idea? What is one thought you have on that?
Thank you for the question. And I am glad you have been talking about the power issue and the gigabytes that you guys have mentioned. The previous discussion was about, the previous challenge that we were given was about the gigawatts that we expect to use in a data center. And when that was going on, I was thinking about the carbon emission. I'm an environment person, so I was thinking about the carbon emission. And I'm like, can these people come up with something that doesn't emit so much carbon? Because we need the world, the earth, our children's children will need the earth. So how are we going to live it? Are we going to live it better, or are we going to continue with all those gigawatts that we are emitting? And I'm asking if I can do my presentation for just 3 minutes, just to show you the big idea that I've come up with, if it's okay with you.
No problem. We'll be also mindful of the time, but
yes.
I think we could give you the 3 minutes.
Yes.
Believe that's the whole purpose of this session.
Okay. So I have a challenge for you, because I know most of you are innovators, all of you are innovators, and you're thinking about the next big thing that you'll come up with. But my question as an environmentalist is, at what cost? At what cost are we doing this? I've come up with a model, and I will go straight to the model that I've come up with. Okay. Thank you. I will do that tomorrow, because my session was supposed to be tomorrow. So I'll do that tomorrow. But my big idea is all of us are stakeholders in electronic waste management. All of us here, and most of us who live in America, are culprits on this. We have 4 phones, and we are buying these phones thinking that we will go home and whatever we have we'll give to our cousins, our nephews and nieces when we go home. And by the time we go home, the technology that we bought, the technology that we have is almost reaching its end of useful life. Sometimes we are very good people. We pick computers here and there, we go to the cell and we get computers, and then we go and donate in our churches back home. And it's a good thing, I'm not refusing, it's a good thing to donate. But how long is this thing going to stay in the market? 3 years it's dead, then what happens to it? We have exported waste to our country, or our countries, and our countries have no capacity to recycle sometimes, and they all end up in Dandora. And the scavengers, we have given them a name, they're called scavengers. The scavengers in those areas, or the people who come to pick our waste in our homes and take them to Dandora, how they handle them, they don't have protective gear. And we know very well that these gadgets that we have, they have, of course, they have rare earth metals, they have gold, they have all those things, but they also have toxic materials. And these toxic materials like lead, mercury, they end up harming our people. So when you're buying something, please make sure you don't buy something that's about to die. And you take it home and they have no capacity to handle it. So get something, if you're buying someone something, buy something nice and take it to them. It can stay at least for 5 years or so. And even so, why do you buy? I usually ask myself, why am I buying? Why are you buying? Ask yourself that question when you're buying. Because our consumer behavior is what drives the IT companies. It's what drives the other people. We are all stakeholders. And I'm for innovation. I'm for everything, good. But ask yourself as a person, why am I buying this? Am I contributing to electronic waste? And especially to Africa. We'll talk about that later. So let me, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for really making us also be conscious about the environmental effect of some of the uses that AI will be able to introduce. So let me come back to you, titles. So you are still on agentic AI. What will be your, give us probably a practical use, probably something that each one of us can think about the moment they live here when it comes to agentic AI. What is something that would look forward to or that would love to see being developed from AI?
Sounds good. So the question is basically a practical application on agentic AI, okay? I'll pause there. I'll return to the previous question because it's a little bit definitional. Something that, first of all, we want to notice is AI, and it hasn't been mentioned today, but AI is an umbrella term, right? It's a whole umbrella term that means so many different subjects underneath it. For example, you have large language models, LLMs, and that's where ChatGPT, Gemini come in. You have deep learning, you have machine learning, they're really technical terms, and then now agentic AI is one of them. So just wanted to put that out there, that AI is an umbrella, but then we kind of defaulted to generative AI, of which the models are. Anyway, just wanted to put that note. Regarding practical applications, so if you're looking to create an agent, you can do it commercially, you can do it professionally, you can also do it personally. Professionally, it depends on how much your employer how much, first of all, they've invested into the whole AI architecture, and then whether or not they have their own inbuilt system to create one. I'm fortunate I work for one who does that. And some use cases they do at work is they have like this application called an iFlow Writer, which basically is an agent that synthesizes the stock market news and market events happening every Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., such that when the market opens at 9:30, then this agent is already up to work generating insights for tomorrow's editorials, you see. We have agents that synthesize documents, like say for example, I'll take it, who here wants to read the terms and conditions document? Yeah. Okay, who that is not a lawyer wants to read terms and conditions? As simple as that, you have an agent whose prompt you tell it to, okay, summarize this whole document for me, you are specialized in this, give me the key main insights, or even the fine print that I might be missing from this document, right? Synthesizer. I have a friend, a practical home-based example, she told me that she used Codex via ChatGPT. Her mom, for context, is an accountant, but also a salonist, so 2 jobs at once. And so this friend of mine, due to her technical background, she's like, you know, mom, what you can do, instead of having to have this B2B system whereby, oh, you have to meet a customer and process the payments and get the details, etc., I'll just create an agent for you that does all that. So it's like a digital employee for you, right? You don't, the only thing you are going to have to pay it is maybe the tokens or the expenditure or whatever, right? But e-agent, just feed it the customer information, granted information that's worthy of implanting in the agent because again, you're a business. And then tell the agent, okay, this is the customer, this is the persona that we are dealing with, and then process the transaction where we're related to the money, right? Give me the final payment or whatever, right? So she got an agent that basically is like a personal assistant, but also a payment processor for a small business, for someone doing accounting, but also, I mentioned hairdressing or nail tech, maybe. Okay.
Maybe that's quite interesting. You've been able to mention a number of ways in which you can benefit from agentic AI. I don't know if I still have, maybe from the MC, if I still have a few minutes, I could take now questions, generally like 1 or 2 from the audience, just to be able to see what are these, what does the audience feel about these key policy, practical areas about AI.
Who's already feeling? Excuse me. Could this table just stand up? Just you girls, and that boy. Just stand. Dr. John, just stand. Just stretch. Just move around, turn around, and everything else. You guys were sleeping. I was watching you guys. Now sit down. So if your table doesn't want to do that, just keep our latte. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, panelists. I just realized from the beginning I never got to introduce myself. My name is Professor. I'm very passionate about agentic AI because what happens with agentic AI is if you can think of a problem and map it into a workflow, you can create agents to solve it. And actually, I'm excited because that's what I'll be presenting on. I've created 9 agents for career reinvention, and that's what I'll do tomorrow for 5 minutes. So if you have any problem and you can create a workflow for it, any problem, it doesn't matter what it is, and this is the way you should be thinking, because this is the way to go for innovation. Any problem you can think of, map it into a workflow, and you can use the other LLM models to help you map it out. You can build an agent for it by just prompting it. So anybody here can actually do that. So it's something that each of us need to think about for any problem.
You know, there's something very interesting about technical guys. There are people watching us from Rwanda. There's Jonathan Ngugi watching us from London this afternoon on social media. And there are guys here. That guy said he was invited by a relative. And you guys are using technical words like mapping. Ile map ule jamaa anajua ni GPS. So please try and carry us along. Eh? Yeah. Did I see a hand somewhere here? Yes, ma'am.
The protocol is to stand, yeah? Okay, I'm the 50 plus. My name is Jacinta Odwor. I work in the international space in governance. So I don't know whether mine are questions or just comments. I have 3 of them. Let me start with one. I think like Mongare said, you said Mongare or Monga? Like Mongare said, use of technical words. Since morning, I have not had a description of what AI is. Yeah, nobody has told us what is AI. None of the groups since morning. And the reason why I'm saying that, I think there's an assumption that everybody in the room knows what AI is. It's as though the bare minimum qualification for attending this session was that you should know what AI is. And I say that because, can you imagine, when you talk about AI to people my age, they are very resistant. They say, hizo vitu mimi sitaki hizo vitu. Me, I'm just used to the traditional. So if somebody doesn't know what AI is, it's really difficult even to bring them on board. That's one. Yes. Number 2, and this is to this group, and I think the last group also that talked about policy and governance. Everybody is creating apps. In fact, in one of the meeting earlier this year, some conference, it was supposed to be about AI, but turned out to be a vendor event. All people who had created apps were selling their apps. Now, the question is, who ultimately owns these apps? Who is in control? And I'm asking that because on June 12th, this I think 2 weeks ago, the US government suspended Fable 5 and Mythos 5 without notice to anybody. They just said, anybody, foreign nationals, will no longer use, who are using this Fable 5 and Mythos 5, they switched it off. Who owns the back end? Who has the ownership? And so right now, I think in the next 2 weeks, the UN is trying to come up with a UN convention on AI use. So is a question that is ongoing. Are we just going to wake up, generate AI, or create agents? What are the embedded governance issues in there? And finally, number 3, somebody talked about infrastructure. I just wanted to share that there's a program by the Department of Labor in the US. It's called Make America AI Ready. They say everybody has a smartphone. So they are running the project of educating people on AI through your phone. So what they are doing, they just send you a text, you say whether you are ready for it, and they ask you what time works for you, and then every day for that time, they will send you some questions, and you answer. So you do it in like 4 weeks, the first step, like that. So in terms of infrastructure, even in Kenya, everybody has a phone. But I don't know whether that can work, but it's an example of making people, the populace, at least get to know what AI is. Thank you.
Let us appreciate her in a better way. Yeah, this table, just clap for her. Again, just you guys. Just you guys. Clap until I tell you to stop. Keep doing that. Just keep doing that. If someone stops, you are standing up. Yeah, just keep clapping. Yeah, you see the confusion you're creating for that lady above 50. AI, the AI we know, ni ile ya veterinary doctors, artificial insemination. So, be clear. Thanks, back to you, and we can wind up in the next 10 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much for those observations. I like the way you say you talked about the bare minimum about. Sometimes we make assumptions on the terms that we use, but then I would perhaps give it as an open question to anyone who would be interested to respond to those. There's the control of apps, there's the issue of infrastructure, being able at least to utilize even the basic, like the phones. And then of course, one of the comments was about, of course, the way you see that these sessions are going to link together so that you can still benefit from more about agentic AI. But then those are the 3 key areas. What would be your thoughts? Let's start with Titus. What would be your thoughts? In any, answer whichever you feel you're.
Sounds good. First of all, I appreciate Madam for bringing up the main point of discussion. And to eliminate all doubt, for anyone who doesn't know what AI is, it's the way computers mimic humans. Starting from the ground level, that's one. However, let it be noted that AI has been floating around for 4 years now, and it's been a buzzword in people's tongues, in weeks, months, etc., which emphasizes the importance of keeping up with the times, you see. So it's good to start from the basics, but we also have to, again, keep on informing each other about these trends happening and whatsoever, because it's been 4 years since this has infiltrated. I think Joanne might have a better answer to the who owns these specific apps question, but from what I can tell from experience, and I'm closing my point out, is technically you own the app, but you don't own the entire infrastructure on which it's built. Because at our place, we have the whole LLM system. We have our own internal LLM called ELIZA, and you're told you can build any agent using ELIZA. So you own the agent, but you technically don't own ELIZA. And that's also, I think, within the broader context of LLM dissemination into, sorry, put away big words, LLM divided into mini agents. So I would imagine there should be future conversations going on about that, but I also think that's a good gray area question to ask.
All right. I was going to answer the easy one. What is artificial intelligence? Large language model.
LLM unajua ni hii ya huyu lawyer.
Okay, so now that he answered what artificial intelligence is, it's just a branch of computer science that is focused on building systems that mimic human intelligence and tasks that are performed by humans. That's just what that is. And so when you hear him talking about agents and building an agent, we are lucky enough, or lucky enough as well, to be in a company that actually does that all the time. And I have, I think, 10 agents that work for me now. That in the morning when I go in, I have one that tells me what's the news, right? What do I have to worry about in terms of the cloud? What is happening? Where are we seeing constraints? Where are the supply chain challenges? Who are the customers that I am driving or I own that are affected in whichever region they are deploying in? So just to give you context, I cover customers that bring in about 10 billion in terms of dollars for Microsoft, and so those are companies like OpenAI, Anthropic. We are talking about ACP. We are talking about all of that. So they are all over the very different companies, and they all have different challenges, and they are all, selling, buying from Microsoft, and then reselling the cloud to other people, right? And so that makes it a very unique space to be in. So I have to know everything that is happening for every customer. So before, I manually used to go and kind of data mine and figure, and it would take me forever, right? Now I have agents that I have deployed, and they know how I think, what I'm expecting, and they know that I need to have all these meetings with all these chief technical officers or whatever is happening in my day, depending on what's happening, because I've trained them. They know on Monday, this is what I do, on Tuesday, this is what I do. So now I have all that data right there. The agent has already prepared it for me. All I need to do now is really look at it and say, okay, what are the next steps that I need to take? And use now my human intelligence to say, no, this doesn't make sense, right? Or this makes sense. So that's the power of using agents. It's saving me so much time and pain and agony that I used to go through. And so when we're talking about the apps and the agents are definitely going to be yours, but you don't own that data. You don't, same thing that he talked about. Microsoft, for me, owns all of that. So when I use the Copilot, I use Copilot a lot in all of my workflows. And so yes, the agents are mine, I built them, I trained them, I did all of that. But at the end of the day, they're running on on Microsoft language model, right? So all of that they own all of that. So when I leave Microsoft, all of that is left there. So you have to remember that. So as you're building your agent, you're definitely going to build something that's for you. It will run your business. It will run whatever it is that you want it to run. But at the end of the day, remember this data, you are building it on top of somebody else's structure, right? So it's like you're going levels by levels. So at the end of the day, if there was an apocalypse and someone decided to shut you down, they probably could. And those are some of the safety and governance issues that now we have to figure out, right? Who owns what exactly? Do you own it? We still don't know. So, yeah.
Thank you. From an environmental and policy perspective, when we develop something, when you develop something, you're the developers. When you develop something, just know, when you create something, just know that it will reach its end of life. The same way we eat, after eating, you have to. So it's the same way. It will reach its end of life. So when it reaches its end of life, where does it go? I would really love you to ask yourself that question. Some of you will say, I am a developer, I'm a software, I'm a programmer, I don't. All those things that you do run on something. It could be a data center, it could be the fiber optics that are used, the batteries that are used, whatever is used, and most of them have toxic materials. So think about their end of life. When they reach their end of life, where do they go? And that is why our country has come up with an act. It's called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. NEMA is doing a lot of work. It's just that sometimes they don't have the capacity to implement, or they don't have the support from the people to implement, but they're doing a lot of work. NEMA categorizes this waste that we get, electronic and electrical equipment, as toxic. So that is how it's handled. When it gets there, it is toxic. So whatever the rare metals or whatever is in there, it goes to waste sometimes. Sometimes it does. But they came up with another act, it's called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. So for you, when you bring something to Kenya, back home, you are considered a producer. Whether you manufactured it or not, you're considered a producer. And it is your responsibility to make sure that when it reaches its end of life, you take care of it.
You see, when you see me here, it means you end, just stop talking. Yeah, you want to conclude? Let me just move a bit, you conclude. Yeah, yeah. Finish, just finish.
Yeah, so let's support our systems, like NEMA. If you see them asking for public participation, please. They usually do it on their website, so please participate and have your voice heard. Like I said, we went to school together, so he's harassing me because...
And the clever ones, who are the jokers. We can see. You can see, right?
Yes, 1 minute, please, Titus.
I won't even take 15 seconds. I'm very happy Madam Efavesa is going to teach more about agents. Consider the possibility that agentic AI and artificial intelligence are skills you can add to your resume moving forward.
Yes. Okay. Now you may stand and take a